the temple for celebrating today. So we have Deepavali festival, so which is Lord Sri Rama coming back to Ayodhya. Okay, so in some places in India it was celebrated yesterday, and today we are celebrating here in this temple. So the program, actual program of the festival is in the evening. I think from 5 to 6 is the discussing Sri Rama Charitra, I guess. Then after that, of course, prasada as usual, feast. Then again, evening offering, and you will see appearance of Sita, Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman in the altar in the evening. So today we have got Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, verse 5. So as you all know, so this is the seventh canto, which is also called as Science of God. And the chapter today is chapter 10, and the title of chapter is Prahlad, the best among the exalted devotees. So if you want to know the best qualities of a devotee, so this is a chapter to read. And among all the devotees, the best devotee is, Prahlad. So the Prahlad qualities are described in today's, this chapter. And today we are reading verse number 5. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So let us read verse by verse, word by word, and then we read the full verse. Again, Canto 7, Chapter 10, verse 5. Asyasanaha na vai vrattaya swamini asisaha atmanaha na swami vrattayat swamayam Icchan ya rati cha asisaha. Now reading line by line. Asyasano navai vrattaya. Asyasano navai vrattaha. Swamini asisa atmanaha. Swamini asisaha atmanaha. Na swami vrattata swamiyam. Na swami vrattata swamiyam. Icchanyo rati Chasisaha. Icchanyo rati chasisaha. Asyasano navai vrattaha. Swamini asisa atmanaha. Na swami vrattata swamiyam. Icchanyo rati chasisaha. Asisano navai vrattaya. Swamini asisa atmanaha. Na swami vrattata swamiyam. Icchanyo rati chasisaha. Prabhu. Swami Vraja-ra Swamiyam Nurati Chasisaha Others. Swamini Asisatmanaha Na Swami Vraja-ra Swamiyam Vichanurati Chasisaha. Okay, word to word translation. Asasanaha, a person who desires in exchange for service. Na, not. Why? Indeed. Vraja-ha, a qualified servant or pure devotee of the Lord. Swamini, from the master. Asisaha, material benefit. Atmanaha, for personal sense gratification. Na, not, nor. Swami, the master. Vraja-ya, from the servant. Swamiyam, the prestigious position of being the master. Icchan, desiring. Ya, any such master who Rati, bestows. Cha, also. Asisaha, material profit. Translation translated by Srila Prabhupada ki. A servant who desires material profits from his master is certainly not a qualified servant or pure devotee. Similarly, a master who bestows benedictions upon his servant because of a desire to maintain a prestigious position as master is also not a pure devotee. Purport. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Karmestes ter harta jnanaha prapadayante anya devataha. Those whose minds are distorted by material desires surrender unto demigods. A demigod cannot become master, for the real master is the supreme personality of Godhead. The demigods, to keep their prestigious positions, bestowed upon their worshippers whatever benedictions the worshippers want. For example, once it was found that an asura took a benediction from Lord Shiva, by which asura would be able to kill someone simply by placing his hand on that person's head. Such benedictions are possible to receive from the demigods if one worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, the Lord will never offer him such condemned benedictions. On the contrary, it is said in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, volume 10, 88, chapter 8, Yasyaham anugrahami hariyese tad dhanam saneha. If one is too much materialist, but at the same time want to be servant of Supreme Personality, Supreme Lord, the Lord, because of his supreme compassion for the devotee, takes away all his material appearances and obliges him to be pure devotee of the Lord. Prahlad Maharaj distinguishes between the pure devotee and the pure master. The Lord is the pure master, the supreme master, whereas an unloyal devotee with no material motives is the pure servant. One who has materialistic motivations cannot become a servant, and one who unnecessarily bestows benediction upon his servants to keep his prestigious position is not a real master. Om Ajnana Trimindasya Jnananjala Salakaya Chakshurulmitamena Tasme Sri Guruve Namaha Namo Om Ishtupadaya Krishnapadaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswadevi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pachata Deshatarini Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktivanda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So reading the verse again. A servant who desires material profits from his master is certainly not a qualified servant or pure devotee. Similarly, a master who bestows benedictions upon his servant because of a desire to maintain a prestigious position as a master is also not a pure master. So today's verse, so clearly highlighting the qualities of master and the qualities of a servant. So it highlights that, of course, in this word or every word, so there is someone who is the employer and the employee. There is always someone manager and the workers. So this is very common hierarchy, correct? So hierarchy is very, very common. So even in Chaturvarna, so here also we see in the positions in the society. So there are persons who assume the position of intellectuals. If you see, say for example, the state of Victoria, so there are people who, class of people who act as intellectuals, advisors who advise others, so whom we call Brahmana. Then there are persons who rule the place, rulers. So these days the rulers are politicians, for example. Correct? They assume position of Prime Minister of the country, President of the country, then Chief Minister or a Premier of a state, like that. They are the rulers. And these rulers are the ones who take advice from intellectuals and then implement those advices. So this is true even today also. If you go to the Premier of Victoria of the state, then many policies they implement. Before they implement, they consult experts. So is this policy that we want to implement, is it good for the state in short term, in long term? Correct? So there is a master and there is a servant relationship. Then of course if you come down, so there are merchants. So here is talking about merchant. So so there are merchant who does business. Then of course then large class of people do serve the rest of the top four. Correct? So either we may be serving a merchant, means a businessman. Somebody is running a business and there are many people who are working for that person. Correct? So all the labor what we call. So they are serving upper ones. You might be serving a Brahmana, intellectual, you might be serving a politician, or you might be serving a businessman. So now what is the relation between those two? Or the relation between Supreme Lord and those who are serving Supreme Lord. So the most of the devotees who come to the temple, so their ultimate goal is to become servant of Supreme Lord. The ultimate goal. Correct? So they all come to develop love of Krishna, then of course render some services, and services can be a range of services. But as part of service, no one is demanding that give me this much money. So many of them are voluntary services. And the today's verse, so it talks one actually about a servant who desires material profits from his master is certainly not a qualified servant or pure devotee. So let us think from the perspective of devotees. So here we have more devotees who are devoted, dedicated their life and their soul, their words and their body, their mind, everything they got to the service of Sri Krishna. Correct? So in serving Supreme Lord, in serving the temple, so they are not demanding that I should be paid so much salary, so much of so money per month, per day. Correct? If they are demanding, they are not really devotee. They are just no better than merchants. Correct? So any other employee. Correct? That means they are not doing out of love. Anyone who is doing rendering services out of love, with dedication, sincerity, they are not demanding. So therefore, such persons are pure devotees. So clearly this verse explains who is a pure devotee. So anyone serving in the temple, so our Supreme Lord Krishna, so if they are not expecting anything in return from the Supreme Lord, what to speak of from temple, that is. Even Supreme Lord, secretly also they are not expecting anything from Supreme Lord. They are saying that whatever may be my janma, whether in this life or the next life, I don't worry whether I am in Vaikuntha Loka or Indra Loka or in Australia. All I seek is your service. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Śrīmad so he says about the Śrīmad is actually very clear instruction on how we should be boundly. So usually the people who are serving Supreme Lord are performing some yajna, are performing some services, so they might be having material desires. So some who are doing tapas, what is the purpose of tapas? To purify one heart. With that purification, so you want to render some service to Supreme Lord and you want to help glorify Supreme Lord qualities and then uplift quality of the masses. See, the mass population is simply engaged in eating, mating, sleeping, depending. Majority of them, correct? And all the work that is due is towards making sure that their sleeping is first class. Means maybe sleep in a high class house full of air conditioning during summer and cold during hot during winter, then cold air during summer. Always maintain temperature very high class, that is comfortable to the body. So like that, so much of effort, working so much hard, then to maintain high quality, a very comfortable lifestyle. So that is the general goal of mass population. So the persons who want to uplift thinking, quality, lifestyle, activities of all the citizens, all the people of this world to be divine. So this way we can have peace and prosperity in the world. Actually all these divine qualities are not meant to make person poor. If the whole world is very divine, everyone is very devoted to Supreme Lord, and they all are consciousness of Krishna, consciousness of Sri Rama, then we will clearly see society to be peaceful. When the society is peaceful, it will be prosperous. How? So right now, if you see any country's income, their GDP, some countries are spending 50% of money in fighting only. Spending significant amount of money in doing manufacturing atom bombs, manufacturing guided missiles. The missiles, they guide. So this missile should travel all the way from one continent to other continent and then hit this place. Those are ballistic missiles. So that means more than 50% of our income is going for this purpose only. If everybody is divine and peaceful, then we don't have to work that much. Instead of working to earn $100,000, you can just earn 50,000 only. So we can still be same happiness. So instead of working 10 hours a day, you can work only 5 hours a day. Remaining 5 hours, do some bhajan, do some chanting, read some Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, read Sri Ramacharitra, then you all become peaceful and happy. Correct? Yeah, so it is very important that the time and effort of everyone is wisely, and if they become pure devotees of the Lord, the whole world will be peace and prosperous. In Bhagavad Gita, we will see Lord says that when all the citizens are engaged in those divine thinking, divine qualities, divine activities, and living peacefully and happily, then it is automatically prosperous. So today we are celebrating, Deepavali. So Deepavali is arrival of Sri Ram after defeating Ravana, comes to Ayodhya. So after that, when Sri Ram was ruling Ayodhya and the rest of the Bharatavarsha, at that time it was peace and prosperous, full prosperous. And everyone aspired to again create Rama-Raja, the kingdom that was as prosperous, as very nice ruler, that is Sri Ram himself, then the citizens also equally good. So both, so the king and the citizens. There, of course, there is also saying, Yatha Raja Tata Praja. Means, so the way the king is, similarly all those citizens also. Correct? So if the king is also a very high quality divine person, automatically his citizens, subjects will also be divine and high quality. So then this relationship with the master, with the king and the citizens who are workers or the devotees. So there is also very nice relationship. So here the citizens also not only demanding, correct? Demanding that I must be given this much money. Otherwise, these days if you see, go to any places, most of the time they do strike. Correct? So it's very common. You go to university, any university in Australia, Melbourne or in Australia. So there's always a fight between the rulers, the administrator of the university and the rest of the workers. So these workers demand higher and higher salary. And they want to give lower and lower. So there is a strike. So strike means what? So people say, oh, we are not going to teach. Let students come, but no teaching. Then who will suffer? Students will suffer. Then because of this tension between these two, finally they will come to some kind of agreement. That, okay, let us raise. The employees will demand that please raise my salary by 10% this year. The employer says, no raise. Then this strike will possibly bring you to somewhere in the middle, depending upon ability to negotiate. Correct? And so here it says, those who are desiring this material profit, they are not really qualified servants. Similarly, the masters who are giving you some benediction, who are paying you some money just to maintain prestigious position, they are also not good master. Correct? So they are also not qualified master. They are not a pure master. So inside if you see Prabhupada, he says, among the people who go to some holy places, what for? Some are going to holy places, visiting holy places to purify their consciousness, correct? So to charge their battery, we say. In our Hare Krishna movement, devotees, once in a year, I am going to go to Vrindavan. What for? Not for doing tourism of Agra, Taj Mahal and those things. What do? They go there and spend and visit all the places where Lord Krishna's pastime took places. Are the devotees who have identified the places where pastime took place. So therefore, when you go to, say, Vrindavan, you are most likely to visit various pastime places in Vrindavan. You are like to visit, say, Radha Kund. You are like to visit Barsana and try to hear in which of the places what kind of pastime took place. So this way you connect yourself with the Dham, connect yourself with the pastimes of the Lord. Through that you connect with the Lord Charitra. And by doing this, what is the benefit? When you hear, for example, you go to Ayodhya. When you go to Ayodhya, so you like to hear about history or about the dynasty of Lord Sri Rama. Right? So then you like to hear about, how Dasa king, the father of Lord Sri Rama, so how he was able to perform yajna and through which, so he was able to get these 4 sons, 4 divine sons. Then their qualities during childhood, so how they grew up, what their quality, then as they progressed, and how they were able to assist various acharyas in performing, in delivering their religious activity, including performing yajna, correct? Then how Sri Rama was able to lift Shiva Dhanus. If you go to, Janaka Maharaj has a daughter called Sita Mata. So there, he wanted to perform marriage of his daughter. So in the olden days, so to identify the right person to marry his daughter, so he conducted a Swayamvara. So in that day, so he invited all the kings and potential princes from different places, and they come and they need to exhibit their quality, their supreme quality. So what was the quality that was expected? He used to lift a Shiva Dhanus. Lord Shiva also had this bow, so that's called Shiva Dhanus. So there, so many persons have tried to lift, not even single of them was able to lift a little bit. But Lord Sri Rama was able to lift very easily. Correct? Yeah. So by hearing such Lord pastime, what happens? Our consciousness more and more connects with Supreme Lord, divine. And divine Supreme Lord, like Lord Sri Rama, is Satchidananda. Sat Chit Ananda in full, unlimited. So when we connect ourselves with Sat Satchidananda, we also derive supreme happiness. Correct? That is supreme bliss actually, behind happiness. Sat Chit Ananda. Ananda is the bliss. So happiness is just material, simple happiness. Correct? When you are thirsty, drink some water, feel happy. Correct? So when you are hungry, take one gulab jamun, eat and feel happy. Then one more you eat and feel little more happy. And take third one, feel little more happy. Then 4, no more. If you start eating 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you become unhappy. Correct? Because we are trying to thrust, we are trying to derive some pleasure for the tongue by just through material food. But if you are connected with the Supreme Lord who is unlimited Ananda, so then we can also derive such Ananda. So such thinking and qualities are the one you develop by, as a devotee and go there. So there, of course, you are not expecting that those things come to you, but you are connected with the Supreme Lord, you automatically get it. You don't have to do any special request from the Lord. So you automatically get it. Correct? By hearing such divine charitra, divine qualities of Supreme Lord, what happens? Our Arishtavargas in our body, in our heart, will disappear. One such is envy. Correct? So we become non-envious. When we hear Krishna Katha, when we hear Rama Katha, so what happens? Our mind and consciousness getting purified. Through that we become true pure devotee. When you become pure devotee, then you see everyone as your brothers and sisters because we all are from parcel of Krishna. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mama Amse Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. All the living things are part and parcel of me. Correct? So if you are part of Krishna and I am part of Krishna and she is part of Krishna, therefore we will have a bandhavya. Correct? No enviousness. So then when there is no envy, then we will be very peaceful and happy. See, envy is like a fire. Correct? The fire can burn outside. When it burns outside, it will burn your house. It will burn the Victoria Forest. Correct? It will burn the National Forest in Sydney. Correct? The fire. Now as summer is coming, so people are so much worried about fire. Fire, people get burnt, the animals inside the forest get burnt, and all the trees get burnt. So it's a big problem, fire. Correct? Bush fire we call, forest fire. So similarly, if that same fire, that is envy, if envy is in our heart, who will get burnt? The person who is envious get burnt. Correct? Ourselves, if I am envy of some devotee, if I am envy of some person, correct? I am not able to do anything but simply envious in heart, envious nature in heart. Because of that envy, we get burnt. So what to do? So therefore we should remove this envy and throw it away. And how can we remove this envy? Only by hearing Ramacharitra. Only by hearing Krishna Katha. Only by hearing qualities of Prahlad. If you hear Prahlad's previous chapters, so beautifully explains the qualities of Prahlad and how he responded to his father's tantrums. Correct? Usually children will throw a tantrum on you. But here, the father, Hiranyakashipu, was throwing that whole world should become his servants and whole world to listen to him. But unfortunately, he found that his own son didn't listen to him because he was expecting him to be a demon, whereas this Prahlad wanted to be a devotee. And this statement that you see today is actually Prahlad's statement. So Lord Narasimhadev has offered him benediction. Prahlad, I am impressed by your dedication to, the divine and dedication to me. Lord Narasimhadev is saying. So therefore, you please request any benediction that you like. So benediction can be, he can ask, please make me a ruler of this universe. Or why just one universe? Make me a ruler of all the universes in this material world. He can ask for all those benedictions. But Prahlad is saying that, no, O Supreme Lord, please do not tempt me with all this material benediction. Correct? So Prahlad is requesting Narasimhadev, please do not tempt me. The only reason I have taken devotional path is that I want to come out of this material, lifestyle, material consciousness. So I want to come do bhakti for you. I want to do your seva. I want to do seva of your devotees. So he was the disciple of Narada Muni. Prahlad was the disciple of Narada Muni. So I want to engage in serving my spiritual master. So I want to engage in serving all of the devotees. So if you benedict me with all this material power, material position, so I end up becoming envious, like my father. So therefore, please do not tempt me with all of this. And then as part of that, he is also saying this. So my service to you is not with the expectation that you give me benediction. Correct? And also I know that you are a Supreme Lord, so you are not going to give benediction to me just to maintain your position. Correct? Narasimhadev don't have to give some gift to this Prahlad to maintain his position. He is Supreme Lord always. Whether he gives benediction or don't give benediction, he is also Supreme. Correct? So here Prabhupada is talking about those persons whose minds are distorted by material desires. So they surrender unto demigods. So now each one of us, we all surrender to somebody. Correct? No one can fully say that I am the master of everything that I survey. Correct? Even if you go to a home, who is the master, Prabhu, at your home? Are you the master? Who? Mother is the master, yeah. So you have to surrender to somebody, correct, at home. You go to offices, university, or some businesses, so there somebody is the master, correct? So here, then of course, within this universe that we are living in, so the supreme masters of this universe, like Lord Brahma, Indra, Shiva, the various demigods, they are master of different areas. Correct? Some are master of a wealth, some are master of a rain, some are master of a land, some are master of a moon, some are master of a sun. Correct? If they don't cooperate, we will be shivering. Correct? Even though sun is there is always sometime cloud will come. The block. Because of cloud, too much of cloud, we have a cold. More cold than necessary that we can tolerate. Some places too much of cold, some places a bit less cold. Correct? So all this is going on. So there is master of some different levels. So some are master in making your business successful. So if you are starting a business, you go and pray to that devata, the demigod, so that your business will prosper. Correct? Sometimes people are opening what kind of business? Not even spiritual business. A business that will uplift people is better. So there are people who are opening a business of like wine shop, alcohol shop. So they want their alcohol shop to be successful. Therefore they will give a name, Sri Venkateswara Alcohol Shop. Is there such a shop in Andhra Pradesh? Yes, there is. You go to Hyderabad, you walk in that street somewhere, you say, Sri Venkateswara, that wine shop, or in Telugu, they write, correct? Or in Kannada also they write. In Kannada also they write in English as well, correct? And they are seeking, or sometimes Sri Ganesha, or Sri Brahma. Right? So like that, people are just even want to engage in business that will actually destroy families, destroy person, destroy the country, destroy the world. They are engaged in such business, and for that success, they seek, perform some demigod worship. Correct? So now, what should demigod do? Narasimhadev is not going to give you such things, such benediction. Whereas demigod will give you, grant you, okay, you are now performing my puja. I know that you are opening this wine shop, but still I will give you benediction. Let your wine shop be successful. You become a wine baron of this Australia, correct? Victoria Bitter. Let Victoria Bitter shop be successful. So they perform some puja, correct? And who will give us benediction? Only demigods do. And there are many such examples. Even here, Prabhupada is giving example of a demigod cannot become a master, or the real master is the Supreme God. So, to keep their prestigious position, they bestow upon their worshipper whatever benedictions worshipper want. For example, so here it says, one Asura took benediction from Lord Shiva, correct? That is Bhasmasura. So there was one demon, so a person with demonic quality. He performed very severe austerity, just like Hiranyakashipu did. Severe austerity. So these people, stand one leg, then stand on fire, then perform severe austerity for pleasing, say for example, Brahma, or pleasing Shiva. This Bhasmasura demon. So he performed so much of austerity, and somehow he pleased Shiva. And we know that Shiva is called Asutosh. He can be pleased very easily. Correct? So pleasing Shiva is very easy. So that is why most people try to go to Shiva. Correct? So other means you have to follow 4 rounds, 16 rounds of chanting every day. Like this you do so many years. Then you follow everything. So much of austerity you have to perform. Whereas pleasing Shiva is very easy. So you just offer one leaf called Bilva Puspatra. So you take one, like Krishna says, Patram Pussam Phalam Toyam. So Krishna get pleased simply by offering those. Whereas Shiva also get pleased, even though Bilva Patra. So you offer one small leaf of Bilva. So Shiva is very pleased. So this Bhasmasura performed such austerity. Then Shiva came to grant him his wish. Shiva says, okay, I am impressed by your worship and your austerity and your dedication. So therefore, I will benedict you. So then he asks, what do you want? He says, okay, please give me benediction. On whosever head I put my hand, that person should become Bhasma. Correct? Imagine, you go and put your hand on the head of somebody, gone, finished, burnt into ash. Correct? That is the benediction he asked. Then this Bhasmasura, Shiva said, okay, no problem, tatastu, he granted. So then this Bhasmasura, then he thought, oh, Shiva can give such benediction. Now I am the most powerful person. But it is possible that Shiva might give such benediction to another person also. So this Bhasmasura is thinking like that. He said, oh, he has given me such a power, but it is likely that the Shiva can also give benediction, such benediction to another person also. Therefore, I can't be a powerful person in this universe anymore. So then he thought, let me finish Shiva himself. So he went and tried to put his hand on Shiva. Then Shiva started running everywhere. Correct? Shiva knows, he'll work. The moment he put, it will work. So Shiva started running from one planet to other planet, running. And Bhasmasura is chasing him to finish Shiva. So this is the nature of devotees. Correct? Are these pure devotees? No. So this is what it says. Those who are expecting some material profit just for, they are not qualified servants, nor qualified devotees. Anyway, this Bhasmaspura started chasing Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva running here and there. So then he come across, then he took shelter of Lord Vishnu. Yeah, please show me from this Bhasmasura. So then Shiva tells him what is the situation. So therefore, don't worry, I will take care of this fellow. Correct? So then, the Vishnu transformed himself into a, like a Brahmana. So he started coming. So there this Bhasmasura come across. Hey, Brahmana, did you see Shiva? He said, Shiva. He is Shiva. Yeah, the Shiva, he is the one who simply gives benediction, but they are not effective at all. Then he says, how do you, how do you say that it is not effective? Then Vishnu tricked him. He said, test yourself. So then you test yourself whether Shiva's benediction is powerful or not. So this Bhasmasura put his own head here, then burnt himself. Correct? He took smartness and intelligence of Lord Vishnu to finish up this Brahmasura. Correct? So you can see here, so Lord Shiva or some of the demigods, sometimes they just give benediction without really considering the consequences of this benediction. See, you should give right wealth, right power to qualified people. If you give wealth to unqualified people, what they do? They will create a destruction in the world. But if you give the same wealth to qualified people, and qualified people will use that wealth for good things, they might be pious, at least in materially, they might open up nice hospitals for old people, hospital for young people, because these days hospital is needed for everybody. Whether you are old or young, everybody is in trouble, in diseases. Correct? So they might open nice hospitals for the benefit of people. They might open up nice education institutes for the benefit of people. Correct? They might be very charitable. You give wealth to those people. But if you give wealth to people who have no quality, then this trouble will come. So this discrimination. So when you pray to demigods, they may not discriminate. Because you are performing puja, so it is transaction. You are performing this puja for me, so in return I will give it to you, whether it's good for you or not good for you. Correct? So this example illustrates. Like this, there are many, many examples. Even Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu performed, 10,000 or more years tapas. From that he got benediction, that no one can kill him in any place, any form, any shape. Like that, so many benediction he has got. But finally, what happened? Then using that power, he started troubling everybody. All the demigods in trouble, all the mandirs in trouble, because in all the temples he replaced the Lord's Vishnu's murti by his murti. And the Vedic chanting, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, is replaced by Om Namo Bhagavate Hiranyakashipu Namaha. Like that. He did. So all the people were in trouble. The demigods in trouble, citizens are trouble. Because such a power was bestowed on this Hiranyakashipu by whom? By Brahma. So he did Om Namo Brahmaya Namaha, like that tapas for 10,000 years. So much of severe austerities that all his flesh and everything was eaten by ants and others. Only the bones were left. Correct? Like if you have not seen bones, you walk on that that corner house, there they're hanging one man with only bones. Correct? If you have not seen in your life, you can just walk there and you will see. Like that. It's only that is left. So Brahma came from Kamandalu, he took his water and sprayed on him. Then he came back to beautiful form. Then after that he started troubling everybody. So this is the problem, giving power to unqualified people. So who can bestow such things? Only demigods. So therefore neither they are a best master, nor these are pure servants. But when you come to Supreme Lord, it is not like that. Supreme Lord only give you what is good for you. Prabhupada says that. Suppose you want to become, you are already rich, but you want to become more richer and richer and richer, you are praying to Krishna. Sometimes Krishna might say, no, this person, actually his ultimate goal is to come back to spiritual world. By making more richer and richer, he is only going to become more materially conscious only. For some people, he might make them poor, maybe bankrupt the business. It happens, correct? Sometimes you see some persons are very rich, very successful, and at some point their business get bankrupted. They become poor. Then they might be thinking, okay, all right. If they're Western country, they will think Jesus is the way. They start praying to Jesus, slowly they become divine persons. Correct? In other places, okay, looks like this, my wealth is causing me trouble. So then of course Supreme Lord takes away. So if it is good for you, then He will take away our wealth. If it is good for you, He will give you all the wealth of the world. Correct? So Sudama was a poor Brahmana. So very, very poor. Difficult to get, not sufficient to get a dinner or a lunch or breakfast. Correct? He was not living in Melbourne Mahaprabhu temple nearby. Because temple at least you can come here, have prasad and go. But there was no such thing at that time. Even though during Dwapara Yuga, Krishna was there. Anyway, he was a poor Brahmana. So he went to Krishna. He was a friend of Krishna actually. So he went there. So Krishna has bestowed him so much of wealth. Of course, this Brahmana didn't ask anything. Correct? Why did he bestow him? He knows that this Brahmana will not be swayed by wealth. Whether he has wealth or not, he is happy. So he will be devoted to Krishna. So he bestowed him so much. But on the other hand, there were many others who were very, very materially powerful, born in very powerful family, but they were reduced to ashes. Yeah. So if they have desire to become bhakta, so Krishna will do what is necessary, what is good for you. Yeah. So this verse, so clearly, as a pure devotee, Prahlad is saying that, I am your servant, please do not tempt with malediction. And of course, we know that a true master will not give such kind of prediction. What is not good for that person. Correct? So Prabhupada has given all those examples. Then of course here clearly Prahlad Maharaj is able to distinguish between who is a pure devotee, who is a merchant. Correct? So if you are demanding so many things from Krishna for your material prosperity, that person is not a pure devotee, not even a devotee, not even a servant. But one who is anyabhilasa sunyam. So he doesn't have any material desire, but simply to please Supreme Lord. So such a person is a pure devotee. So this is what exactly Prahlad is teaching us. And that is why we say, the exalted devotee. The Lord has so many devotees. Correct? We call them as Mahajanas. 12 Mahajanas, for example. Among 12 Mahajanas, the best devotee is Prahlad. This is what Narada Muni is saying. Correct? Narada Muni is the spiritual master of Prahlad. So the spiritual master is saying that this Prahlad is the best devotee of the Lord. Not a best devotee. The best devotee, one of the best among the devotees. So fully dedicated, no desire. In fact, when the benediction is offered, what was the benediction? He asked, the first benediction, O Supreme Lord, please, if you want to give benediction, give me benediction that I am always your servant. Never get attached to anything material. So that is the first benediction. What was the second benediction? He said, my father was so much of invasive. He blasphemed you so much. Please forgive him. That was the only two benedictions he asked. Then Narasimhadev said, Tatastu. He said, not only your father, 24 generation forefathers are liberated. That means if there is one devotee person, a son or a daughter in the family, if they are devoted to Supreme Lord, because of them, 24 generations are delivered. Can you see 24 generations? Forefathers? All of them, they might have done all kinds of sinful activity, but they are liberated just because one devotee is born in a family. Yeah, so such a high quality that Prahlad has exhibited, and that chapter, that's why it says, the best among the exalted devotees. And how do we know that? His statement, this also proves. So that servant who desires from material profit is not really a true servant nor a pure devotee. Similarly, a master who gives you benediction just for the sake of maintaining person is also not true master. Okay? So with that, let me stop here. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Probably time for prasada. So please enjoy prasada. Hare Bol. So this class is conducted on behalf of Anida Prabhu. So I understand. I heard that Anida Prabhu just arrived at 2 or 3 o'clock. Few hours ago. 2 o'clock means 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6 hours ago he just arrived. So he, so he benedicted me to speak something from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. So I tried my best.